Over the next hour, you'll meet donkeys who are nervous, aggressive, and stubborn, and watch how we help them trust us step by step. Some people work with puppies. I gentle 500-pound plus comedians who have a mind of their own. Welcome to my world. If you're new here, I'm Mary Jo, and this is my life with a whole lot of donkeys, a few horses, and some mules thrown in. When I first started these videos, it was just so the donkeys could transition better to their new homes. I never imagined anyone would want to watch the slow process of gentling wild donkeys, but here we are. This time of year is my favorite, fall. The cooler weather finally feels like I'm not training inside of a microwave, and I love getting out on rides when I can. But with the shorter days and so many donkeys needing gentling, most evenings I'm out here working under the lights after dark. So today I thought I'd take you along, not just for the training, but also for a little bit of life on the farm. Let's get started. Most mornings begin with Dan feeding them while I'm working. Some of them bray before we even ever make it out the door. Others just stand and watch like they're deciding what kind of day we're going to have. It's peaceful here, but don't let that fool you. There's always a little bit of chaos mixed in with the quiet. If we have one that's a little bit nervous around us, we'll hand feed them their breakfast. They all have their own routines. Some like to stand at the gate and wait for their breakfast. People sometimes ask if this is a rescue or a training facility, and the truth is, it's both. We're a 501c3 nonprofit rescue for donkeys, of course, mules and horses. But a big part of what we do is gentling the wild ones. It's about helping them make the transition from the range or from tough situations into a life where they can trust people again. I don't really think of it as rescuing in a traditional sense. It's more like meeting them where they are and helping them learn that people can be safe. For me, the process is what I love the most. Watching the moment when a donkey who's been unsure or defensive finally takes a breath, softens, and chooses connection. That's what makes all of the hours of slow, quiet work worth it. Each of the Golden Girls taught me something different, from fear to curiosity, lessons we'll use with the new donkeys later on in this video. Each donkey or horse that comes through here teaches me something new. The longer I do this, the more I realize how much timing matters, not just with them, but in life too. I've learned that if I slow down, they meet me halfway, and that's really what this is all about. Our pen sizes have grown over the years to be able to handle all the new animals that we've been bringing home and to help them get gentled and used to the different things that they need to start to be able to do, like getting in the trailer or staying tied. But once everyone is settled and I've done my little morning rounds, it's time to start working with whoever's ready that day. Every donkey's on their own timeline. Some are still deciding if they want to be caught yet, while others are ready to try new things. Today, I'm going to be working with Squirrel, Rosa, Pine, and Laska. We're focusing on building trust and taking the next small steps forward. I always tell people training a wild burro isn't about forcing movement. It's about helping their minds get unstuck. Normally, before I start working with them, I go in and just clean up the pens, move the animals around, give them some time to get used to my presence before we start with the gentling and training process. When I walk out here in the fall, it feels different. The days are shorter, the air cooler. Training feels easier when it's not 100 degrees out. I love the smell of the pens, the crisp air, and just being with the animals. People think that donkeys are stubborn, but they're not. They're just cautious. Curiosity wrestles with fear every single day. You see a little shift, leaning forward, stepping back, ears swiveling. They want to know you. They're just not sure they can trust you yet. Every time I start with a new group, I think back to the Golden Girls, Grace, Valhalla, and Ah, because they were the ones who really taught me what gentling means. Grace, she was super brave. Even though she didn't want to be touched at first, she had that look in her eye, like, by the grace of God, I can do anything. And that's how she got her name. She'd size up a new situation and go, okay, I'll figure this out. I love that about her. Valhalla? Oh boy. She was the total opposite. She was so nervous. We didn't know if she wanted to send us to Odin. That's how she got her name, Valhalla. When an animal is that scared, you just don't know what they're going to do. Freeze, bolt, or try to climb right over you. Every move had to be slow and thoughtful because fear makes everything unpredictable.
Are you going to stop following me now? Or is there something else going on? No? Valhalla.
Miss Grace is brave and Valhalla is terrified. We'll see how these differences play out when we start groundwork with the new animals.
You're funny. You're very, very funny. You're very...
There's 5. Oh. Well, 5 went first.
Good job, guys.
And then there was Ah, right between the two. She was nervous, but not terrified as Valhalla. She's a little bit braver and she loved attention. Still does. If you walk by her without saying hi, she'd make sure you noticed her. She was like, hey, I'm right here. That's how she got her name, because she always wanted more. Well, more Ah.
Run faster, Mom, faster. Here we go. Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's moving.
Of the Golden Girls, I had to keep one, and Ah is the one. Grace and Valhalla are at a home together, along with Ox, and Ah is getting all kinds of new experiences from cattle sorting, cattle clinic, and riding in the mountains. She's doing a great job, and we're working on her confidence little by little. The first week that we had the Golden Girls home, I just tried to do everything like I learned at the clinic that I attended before I brought them home. So I really didn't have any clue yet. I knew about training. I had trained other animals, but this was a whole nother level, training a wild animal. And I had 3 different donkeys that didn't want to be near me, all for different reasons, completely different reasons. So that's when I really started to learn that gentling, it's not about technique. There are many different techniques that can get the job done. It's good to have lots of different tools in your tool belt, but it's about learning their personality. We have to figure out who they are before we ever try to tell them or get them to cooperate with us. Those early days with the Golden Girls and more donkeys that we've gentled since then, it's taught me that trust doesn't start in the round pen or in the wild pen. It starts in those quiet moments, the ones where we just learn to be okay to be in each other's space. That's where the real gentling begins. I will never forget the first set, the Golden Girls. I felt confident I could do it. I had enough experience with other animals, but it was still scary. They made me want to learn more, to continue to grow my own abilities, and they will always be very special to me. Getting ready to work with the new wilds, it's not just about setting up the space. It's about getting my energy right too. They read everything. They are masters at reading all of this stuff. How fast we move, how much energy we carry. So this part matters more than a lot of people realize. After these quiet moments, we'll start working with some of these new donkeys. One of them is nervous and the other one's stubborn or nervous also. I'll show you how we get them comfortable with touch, halters, confidence, and picking up their feet.
Did you make a mess? You did? You made a mess in there? You did make a mess, didn't you? Yeah, you made a mess in the pen. It's all wet and muddy and poopy. Yeah. Wet and muddy and poopy.
Once things feel quiet and settled, that's when I know we're ready to start. From here, we move from just being together to start the first steps of gentling. Once we've set the stage with calm and trust, it's time to see how these lessons work in real sessions. Stick around to watch Rosa, Squirrel, Pine, and Laska step up.
Leave that alone. No. Leave my phone alone. Otherwise, you're going to make it fall in the mud.
When I first started working with Squirrel, I honestly wasn't sure how far we were going to get. He wasn't aggressive. He would offer to kick when I would move them into their own pens for gentling, but he was so shut down. He was really just deeply uncertain. He'd stand there, blink slowly, like he was trying to solve a puzzle he didn't quite understand. It took him 5 weeks before he got brave enough to take oats from my hand. It was this day. I just stood there, careful not to look in his direction. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. And I didn't push. I just waited, letting him decide if it was safe. For the next 2 weeks, he still ate from my hand like a crocodile, his whole mouth open. He was afraid that he might touch me, and I'm like, oh, I have to be careful so he doesn't bite me on accident. It took him almost 20 minutes to eat his first bite of oats from my hand after he started to think about it. And even then, you see the oats that are on the ground? Because he gapes his mouth like a crocodile, I have my hand heaping full and then half of it falls on the ground, and that's fine. Now he's ate from my hand 4 times. And one thing he started to do while he was still getting comfortable is he would actually turn his butt and then back up towards me. He was saying, those oats on the ground are mine. Now, I've had this crocodile mouth happen before. It was with wild donkey Poncho. He's the oldest wild donkey that I've ever gentled. He was 23 years old. And he used to eat like a crocodile too. And I kind of tried. I didn't really correct him too much. I kind of would try to tell him no, or, be stern with him. But I could tell he, just like Squirrel here, he wasn't trying to be aggressive, nor is Squirrel. I mean, when he turns his butt, that is being aggressive. But the crocodile mouth was just being nervous. Now, I ended up by spending a full 2 weeks with him, just getting him comfortable to eat out of my hand. Right now, he's doing the whole alligator mouth. That's okay. He's not trying to be aggressive. Him turning, though, and showing me his butt to move me out of his way, that is aggression. After he started to eat oats from my hand, things changed. We started working on accepting touch, eating calmly from my hand. Now I'm working on getting him to touch his forehead to my hand. Right now, anytime he even just he's trying to find the answer, I'm going to reward him. He does so well with this training. Later on, his forehead is his favorite spot to be scratched.
job.
Here, he's trying to find oats, but he's learning that my hand doesn't always have any pay in there. So when he does that, I just play with his mouth. And then he doesn't do it as much anymore over time. Right before this turned into his favorite spot to be scratched, you could see on his face. And it said, "Oh, that's what you wanted? I can do that." And from there, we started with haltering and leading, going into the horse trailer, as well as like basic groundwork, and then introducing having his legs handled. And that's where he's hung up at right now, guys. And that's okay because they're all going to take the time that they need. So we're just going to keep working through this. And for the rest of the squirrel time here, I'm just going to have some different videos of what we're working on. Now, because he's a little bit kicky with his feet, what I'm doing is working through the fence. It's not that it keeps me 100% safe. However, I need to really work on doing everything that I can so I can be confident in with what I'm asking, that I'm safe, and I feel confident on the other side of the fence. So keep watching so you can see how we do that. And then we'll go over how this like ties back into Rosa, because I did things almost the same with Rosa as I did with Squirrel, but they didn't turn out the same, guys. Now I'm also going to help him get used to the movements of the halter being put on him before we ever put it on. We want all of this to be a good experience for him, so we take it little by little. Now instead of just having it over top of his neck, I'm going to go around the side of his neck, but not yet grab it from underneath. All of this is a process.
It's exciting. Oh, hey, you have one less donkey here.
I do.
It's hard to believe that this is the same crocodile mouth that was so nervous to be around any people to totally getting into ear scratches now. Check out the difference. You'll see him step away. That's because he got nervous, guys. Just a whoops and then try again. If they're stepping away, you're asking for too much. Stay up higher where they're more comfortable or not leaning or shifting their weight away. And then on the very last one, I'll go down farther. I have my best success doing it that way. This is all in preparation for being able to brush his whole body and pick up his feet. If you're having trouble catching them after your last session, chances are they didn't have long enough breaks. Along with his trailer loading lessons, he's also getting tying lessons, and he's pretty comical as he goes in and out just repetitively while he's standing there. He's like, "Oh, I think I'll go in the trailer," and "Oh, I think I'll come back out." He's long tied, so there's plenty of room for him to go in and out as he sees fit. Now, if you've been watching for any amount of time, you know I like to pay them for doing things that I want them to do, at least while I'm teaching them. So while he's standing in there all nice and calm, he gets paid, guys. If he's having a fit, we kind of just ignore it. We really don't do anything about it, but when he's standing nice, he gets paid. Target training really helps build up the confidence around their legs. So you hold it there, and then you hope for a fly to land on it, and then they pick it up. Pay them for picking it up. You can also touch their leg with the long brush just to help them understand what you want, and eventually they will pick up their foot to touch the target.
Nose.
Goofy donkey.
All right, guys, so now we're on to actually picking up his feet. And I didn't record the picking up his feet when he was kicky, when we were just doing it standing beside him. But this is how I'm working through it to help him have confidence. Now, doing this without a second person. So you see right now, I don't think he's on his toe, but when they go on their toe and you're able to wiggle and jiggle and rub their leg, it's nice to have somebody else just shoveling in the oats. Just pay. When he goes on his toe, and he is going on his toe when I'm doing it through the fence, which is neat because he wasn't going on his toe when we were standing beside him. So we're just working on getting his comfort, that he can pick it up higher than normal, getting us prepared to put it on our knee. This is his last step. He already does everything else for the gentling process, but he needs to pick up his back left foot without kicking. So we're just going to keep on doing it. And you're going to notice when he does kick, what I try to do is keep my hand on the side of his leg. Now, you can't always do that. Now, there's a really fine line here, guys. If you release the pressure once they start to kick, then you're going to teach them that if they kick, what they don't like will stop. So if you can wait and keep your hand beside them, like beside their leg, on the side of their leg, while they're kicking, and then the pressure goes away once they stop kicking, then you're teaching them that that pressure will go away if they're calm. Now, with that being said, if they start to lean away, I'm not going to try to force it. If they are showing that they're nervous, and you see here's on his right side, and on his right side, he will actually step away because he's nervous. So, just keep watching here. If he's stepping away, all that tells me is he's not comfortable. If he's kicking, it tells me he's not comfortable. Now, both of these can be a learned response, but you're going to have to cope with it little by little. And groundwork. So remember, we need to have connection and then cooperation. So connection has to happen first, and cooperation is the other part of it. That's something I haven't been doing a lot of yet, so we're incorporating more of that with him. This is how you teach them to lead. You see how the lead rope is loose? We want him to learn to follow that loose lead rope. So doing this groundwork is a huge step in helping him feel comfortable and confident, knowing what's expected of him for that cooperation. We want all of this stuff to be his idea, so he feels empowered. We want him to be brave enough to think the questions through, not just to freeze up and not answer or even try to answer. And then we're going to keep working, keeping the balance with cooperation and connection, and then connection and cooperation just back and forth. Now we're back on his left foot. He picks it up kind of fast there. That's just a sign of nerves. That's okay. Oh, he goes flat onto his foot. Now I'm going to ask him to pick up his foot again. And while he's on his toe, I'm going to rub his leg. Now typically, like I said, it's best to have two people for this, but Dan's out on a pack trip. There he kicked. I'm just going to try to keep my hand there. Just try to keep my hand there. I'm going to kind of ignore the kick. I'm not going to try to punish him. But I've been learning how to do this even just with myself. So when he's on his toe, and you can see I wiggle and jiggle it just the tiniest amount, I'm just going to fill his mouth full of oats. I like it best when I have two people for this. But if you don't, then we just have to get creative. Rosa was a completely different challenge. When Hannah was here, we rode together so often. Even though back then we weren't training necessarily, there was an energy and a rhythm that made work and life, just so awesome. When she left, it was just me and Dan. And Dan, while wonderfully calm, doesn't always ride or follow the same structure I do. That difference changed everything. Suddenly, it was me, Rosa, and a blank slate.
No, I had to throw it up and over the fence.
Oh, he throws like a girl. Mine are eating because I've made the question they can say yes to. And Dan's are not because he has it too far, too close to him.
No, it's because you came over here and started being mean.
And he throws like a girl.
You came over and started being mean. You scared the poor baby donkeys. They're probably going to have nightmares tonight. Besides, you gave me the pen that's got the rope on the ground.
Her personality is thoughtful, steady, and sometimes testing, but completely different way than Pine or Squirrel. Now keep watching, guys, because Miss Rosa here, as we continue on with her training and gentling, or gentling and training, she shows that she has the ability to be aggressive. Sometimes she thinks that might be the answer. So you're going to be able to see what happens and how we work through it. Now we always start off with just sitting with them, letting them have the opportunity to eat from our hand.
Gotta do that with Squirrel.
And even that can be kind of scary for them sometimes. After they can eat from our hand, we start to offer them oats from our hand, And then the goal is to be able to eat 10 bites in a minute.
With Rosa right now is 10 bites per minute.
Look at your timer.
Okay, it's going. We're at 8 seconds. 9. Okay, so 10 seconds.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You did it in 29 seconds.
So obviously she is rocking eating from our hand. No worries there. So now we're going to start touch training. And here she's got to touch my hand, and you can see Squirrel, he loves this exercise. This is one of the first things that I taught him, and it really made a difference. And now it's Rosa's turn. The only thing is with Rosa, it didn't go the same. It really backfired. She was very uptight, but I'm noticing like right now with her being uptight, she doesn't have a friend with her. She kind of seems to need a friend. But whatever the reason, watch along, guys, and see how she acts. Tell me what you think. I haven't had one act like this towards me before. This is brand new. We've gentled a lot of wild donkeys and taken in rescue donkeys. This is the first one that was ever this bossy.
Pretty funny.
And it could have been bossiness, and it just makes me giggle watching. Could have been bossiness, could be nervousness, it could be aggression. And that's what I'm trying to determine here. Now keep watching. We're going to do some training for easy, and then we're going to start with a long whip. After that, we're going to go to using Seamus to help us gentle. I'd love to hear in the comments, guys, have you ever dealt with a donkey that was aggressive? She's afraid, but she also acts bossy. See? 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 I'm still not sure if that's aggression or frustration, but I'm not going to pay it when it's like that. So we'll keep at this for a little bit longer, but we might change up how we're doing it. I definitely don't want to get fed. This is interesting. Like I did the same thing with the 21-year-old Squirrel, and he never got pushy like this doing this. And because whether you want to call it pushy or frustrated or even aggressive, I'm not quite sure what it is, but we might need to change things up. So I'm sending her away because she actually pushed on me. Head, deep. Deep. Good job, Dan. So much calmer. I love that. This training later on turns into easy. There's a lot of things that we expect our animals to do, but they only do it if they've been taught. So easy is a command. We'll give it a word later on, but right now she's only getting pay if her head is straight forward. And this is just the beginning stages of teaching this. Deep. 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 Because of the tendencies that she's been showing, I wanted to do something and be a little bit more cautious. So having this distance between her and I as I help her get comfortable with the movement. You can see her body flinch. That's showing me she doesn't like that. There's a lot of different ways that they can show us how they feel. So the flinching is one, stomping, bouncing their head around, moving. All these are just little signs. How wrinkly her nose is, if she has a parrot lip, all of that is telling us how she feels. As she starts to show comfort, I will get closer to her. I want to be careful so I don't get hurt, and I want her to feel comfortable before I'm moving closer to her. Be my assistant gentler today. Oh, hi, Seamus. He follows me everywhere, guys. I brought Seamus in the pen with us. He's calm, steady, like a shadow who radiates reassurance. Having Seamus nearby helped Rosa understand that humans can be safe. That connection can exist without fear. We worked primarily on her right side, building up her tolerance and her confidence for touch. This is the first time that I've used Seamus or any animals that we have on the property to help a wild donkey be more comfortable with first touches. Her confidence is growing with every session.
Seamus, are you my helper? Are you my helper for gentling them?
It was something else to see Rosa playing with her tongue like this after her first session with Seamus and I. She has her safe area that she likes over here, and that's fine. We're going to get her over there. Moving your donkeys, guys, sometimes they don't always move right away. I'm going to release that pressure as soon as she takes a step. Now, I like it when her butt is closer to up against the panel because it doesn't give her as much opportunity to turn around. Seamus, you don't always stand in the most helpful spots. Scoot over. Scoot. Scoot. There you go. Okay, so I am going to try to always match up my feet with hers. She's thinking about going. Seamus, come on. Seamus. Scoot. You could do better than that. There you go. One more. Good boy. Okay, so I like it when she's kind of flush up against the panel. And that's because I don't want her to turn away from me if she feels like she needs to go. If she needs to go, I want her to be able to walk forward. And because I'm in a square pen, not a round pen, I have 4 corners. So matching up with her feet, she's pretty chill. Notice that her ears are focused on me. Her eyes are not blinking. There was a little bit of a blink. I'm going to ask her if she's ready now. And Seamus is just here as moral support. And I'll explain more of why I have him in here in a second. You ready? I don't want to lean and pet her at the same time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Now I'm going to lean away. And she likes to smell my hand afterwards. That's fine. So having Alaska in here and Corky with them moving around more. That's just the wind blowing the camera, guys. Sorry. With them moving around more and their heart rates were more elevated, and Rosa is generally, she's been nervous, right? Seamus is so chill. So I had the thought, there goes Honk is honking. I hope you guys can hear it. Now Dude's going. Honk is done. Dude's still going. Now he's done. Okay. So with the 2 in here having being more nervous or frustrated or upset that they're not getting what they want, I thought, you know what, Seamus is just absolutely so chill. So our heart rates matter, and with other heart rates around, they can sense them from a long ways away, guys. So I thought, you know what, letting Seamus come in here with his chill attitude might help her be chill. Right now, her eyes are almost falling asleep. And I don't know if you guys can see Pine still. She's got some little stick and she's twirling it around. That's pretty funny. Okay, so we're going to pet her again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. So often, and most of the time, what I do is when I say deep, they also get pay. And I'm not paying her right now, but the deet is also coming at the release of pressure. Remember, their pay, their reward, it could be food, it could be scratches, and it can also be just leaving them alone. Now, with her just learning to be gentle and she wants to investigate me, I'm going to allow that. I like that she's being curious. And how did I get her curious? That's a question I've been asked before. And for a long time, I had a hard time even answering that. Seamus wants his butt scratched. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Seamus, you might be blocking the view of everybody else. You know that? Seamus, come on. Come on. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. Okay. So having, what did Corky do? Oh, Corky. So you got goosed by a horse and that made you nervous, huh? And that's been another thing that's been happening when I'm in here with horses on 2 sides of her and a mule on another side. So I thought, you know what? Having Seamus in here is just going to help her be calm. Licking and chewing, stepping towards me. These are all good signs. So bringing Seamus in here with his chill heart rate. And of course, I'm always working on keeping my heart rate and myself really calm also. Now we changed how we were doing things because she was so nervous and she was acting like maybe she would be willing to attack me. Donkeys don't want to attack. They want to be in peace. So I changed how I was doing things because even though I did it and it worked for Squirrel, it wasn't working for her. So I needed to change things to make her more comfortable, ask her questions she could say yes to without getting all worked up. Now, when she steps forward, I want to step forward. Seamus, you don't always help. You're like, Seamus has a motto, and his motto is, "You will love me." All right, are you ready? We're going to do this again, but I'm only going to do one that she couldn't say no to last time. Ready? Look at how she just leaned into me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Now I'm going to lean away with my Seamus. Oh, and you're going to step into me again. Look at you. You're getting more and more curious. And look at how soft her eyes are. I'm very excited about the progress that she's making. We have some awesome merchandise with hats, t-shirts, mugs, hoodies. Check it out. Support the herd. Now, Rosa was nervous, and if she felt pushed, she was ready to stand her ground. But Pine, on the other hand, Pine here was ready to flee. We could not believe it. Like, we use a sled to bring hay into the wild pen, and Dan was pulling the sled in with hay for the Ponderosa girls, and I was pulling the wagon in with hay for the old men. And Pine here almost went up over a 6-foot fence. I could hardly believe it. Like, she was like, I am out of here. That's too scary. I said to Dan, don't move. And I said, don't try to take that sled out. Push it underneath the wild pen, because Pine was just too nervous with the sound of that sled coming through the wild pen. She was scared, guys. Oh my. She would barely eat from anybody's hand. She wanted just to run away. We had to start carefully because we didn't want her to try to jump over the pen. And Dan wanted to use the long carriage whip, so he got busy. He put up the tarp in here because he was trying to get it so she wouldn't want to only be next to Rosa. Well, lo and behold, that tarp was like a safety blanket to Pine. She would hide in the corner next to the tarp no matter where it was in the pen. Something else really special happened when Dan was working with her. And so keep watching, because I'll talk about that and you'll be able to see it in the video. We definitely have never had donkeys before that used a tarp as a safety blanket. She would play with it, and there's that in the video. She's pretty playful. She plays with the chain. She plays with the safety blanket. She's not played with the jolly ball or that little chicken that squeaks that's in there. Aren't those ears just beautiful? I think she is so pretty with all those different colors on her face. Their mouth and their nose both tell how they're feeling. So we have the parrot lip versus having their bottom lip stick out further. If their bottom lip is sticking out further, that tells us that they're relaxed. But if their top lip is sticking out further, that tells us that they're nervous.
She loves the tarp.
And then how wrinkly their nose is can tell us how they're feeling. And there, Dan's just rubbing her with that carriage stick, and then he'll retreat. It was very, very neat to watch how she went from being so scared, ready to jump over a 6-foot tall fence, to lovey-dovey. So keep watching so you can see how lovey-dovey she is now. She goes into the horse trailer, guys.
Nice work, Dan.
And then we have the surprise that she did during training. We've only had this happen one other time. She's getting a little bit curious here, but that's still a big ask. Like, she's not wanting to come and do any more than that little sniff. There's her safety blanket tarp. You can see her ears behind it. That's where she likes to be, no matter what is going on in the pen. Now, we don't normally like to work with them when they're facing at an angle like that. They need to have a way out. So because of that, Dan's hanging on there and reaching over, trying to get that first touch. But you have to be really careful doing that so you don't get kicked.
You made really good progress.
You really are setting yourself up to be in a bad spot if they decided to turn and kick. So Dan has been working almost exclusively with Pine here. And he is the one who's getting the first touch and had this magic thing happen when he was training. He has worked on helping her feel safe, comfortable with touch, confident enough to follow cues with the nose and neck, handling her legs already, going into the trailer. Pine has been a bridge between the more reactive donkeys and those who are naturally trusting. That's so bizarre to say, being that she almost went over a 6-foot tall fence because she was afraid of a sled that we brought her hay into the pen for her. Yeah. You mean like moving his front feet at the same time?
When he goes to disengage, if he also takes a step with his front.
No, because then you still have forward movement. Unless he's pivoting his foot, and like just resetting it so he doesn't twist his ankle. Do you understand the difference, Hannah?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Are you ready? Oh, good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Still a little jumpy. He's still a little jumpy. Ready?
Dan's type B personality is patient and flexible, willing to adapt to her rhythm, while I tend to be more structured. So we both would get the job done, but there's more than one way to do that. Now you can see how much she has grown to trust Dan, which is so exciting to watch the change within inside of them. She's softened in her stance and her eyes. She's deciding to take a step forward towards him. Training and gentling. It's not just about the animal, it's about the people, the energy, the subtle communication happening in the pen. Watching her progress reinforces that patience, adaptability, and observing personality traits closely is important as the actual training exercise itself. Keep watching for the special surprise that happened with Pine while Dan was training and gentling with her. It's only happened one other time while we were in the gentling and training process.
Can you see yourself?
Show us your stick.
This is really huge
Show
when they
us
decide
the-
to lay
The
down
stick that you've been using.
while you're still in the pen.
Okay.
Because we want to be part of their relaxation. And when they start to feel good, Dan stayed in the pen the whole time. For a quite long time. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but he stayed in there for a very long time, guys. This here is Laska. She's a 1-year-old mule. She's been around people her whole life. Unlike some of the wild donkeys we work with, she isn't learning to trust humans from scratch. She already wants to be around people. She follows me, she's curious, and she wants to be involved with everything that I'm
Let's start
doing.
training.
But there are a lot of different levels of trust. Just because she wants to be near people doesn't mean she's ready for everything yet. Right now, we're focusing on her back feet. She's still learning that being handled there isn't scary. Our goal is gentle introduction, letting her understand that touch is safe, predictable, and non-threatening. Groundwork is minimal at this stage, at this age. This isn't about pressure, it's about showing her what is safe handling feels like. Each animal teaches different lessons, and with Laska, it's clear. Some animals need to learn curiosity first, and she already has that. One thing that stands out when I'm cleaning the pen, she wants to be right there with me, totally engaged. That's different than some of the wild donkeys that we have that are still figuring out that people are safe. Now at 53 minutes and 11 seconds, you'll see a small moment that reminds us of a mule temperament. My phone slipped and she startled and ran to the other end of the pen. Not far, guys, but it's just a reminder. Mules are half horse, half donkey, and that combination can make reactions unpredictable. Donkeys often freeze, horses often move away quickly, and a mule could fall anywhere along that spectrum. And Laska here shows us a little of both. No, she decided to run, didn't she?
Because the phone.
Moments like this are part of trust building.
You got scared, huh?
We stay calm, give them space, and let them process. She's learning that even small surprises aren't scary. And that's exactly why her calm, playful curiosity is such a joy to work with. Notice, guys, she's still evaluating my phone to see if it's dangerous. So it just kind of cracks me up. They need time to process.
Did you get scared of the phone?
Letting them have time to soak is very important.
Isn't it nice?
And as I watch this and voice over it, I should have gave her more time to soak that in. She was obviously still concerned about my phone. Many of us are always working through different things with their animal, like they're fine at home, but they're not okay at this event, or boy, they didn't want to go in the trailer, they were too scared of that. And this little moment shows us each time something like this happens, and then they get to feel good around us, that's building their confidence. A little stressor, then they get comfort from us, and then they trust. This needs to happen over and over with little small stressors, and then having time to soak, come down, feel good around us, and then realize that they are safe with their people. This is going to create good coping skills that last a lifetime each time we do this. Think of this. Your kiddo gets afraid, and then you soothe them. And now next time they're afraid, they know that they're safe because they're with you. Or have you ever had a kiddo who desires one parent over the other, depending on what's happening, because they feel like that parent can keep them safe more than another one? These are all examples, and they cross right over to the animal world. If they feel safe with us, then when something scary happens, they can just look at us to see how we're acting. This is a learned behavior, though. It doesn't happen overnight. We need to have lots of experiences with them and then have them feel good in our presence. And then they learn to trust, even when something is new and they perceive it as scary. Everything that I'm doing with Laska here, it's just to help her get comfortable and find any spots that she's nervous about and keep watching. You'll be able to see them also. Five, four, three, two, one, deep.
So muddy. It's all so muddy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep.
Well, you did a good job. You did a good job.
Whoops. Minutes later, and she's still trying to decide if that phone is safe. Now notice, guys, as I just stand with her, I'm not asking any questions. She starts to lower her head and put her head way down low. That's a sign of her starting to feel good in my presence.
Oh, are you ready to go again? Are you ready to go again? Are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Her moving her leg here, I think she just thinks that's the answer to the question, but we want her to be comfortable with touch everywhere without moving when I'm not asking her to move. 5, 4, 3, so here I just moved to a spot that she's okay with not moving her leg. A question that she can say yes to. 5, 4, 3, oops. Come forward.
That's a good girl. Yeah, that's a good girl. What a good job you did.
It's just a video camera.
Just a video camera. That's all that it is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Notice here again, she thinks she's got to move. So I move my long brush up higher and then I count down really fast. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep.
You got it.
While we're wrapping up with Laska, I want to share a little story about Hannah and Reed, because sometimes connections happen in the most unexpected ways. Dan and I first went to the Ty Evans Clinic back in 2017. We loved what we learned, but it wasn't until later that we really dove in and became part of the community that it all clicked. That's when the magic really started to happen for us. Around that time, we brought home 2 particularly challenging mules. We'd already attended clinics in 2017 and 18, and while we understood groundwork in theory, we didn't fully grasp how important it was until we were dealing with these mules that had bad habits. That's when we truly started following Ty's teachings more closely, and it changed the way we trained and the way we handled our animals. and the results that we were getting. So we fast forward to 2023. Reed started following Ty Evans, the clinic and the masterclass. At that time, he had a girlfriend, so nothing really happened, or so we thought. I noticed he was incredibly engaging, easy to talk to, and humble about his skills. Here I am, a proud mom, bragging about my daughter, bringing this silly silhouette of her, life-size, at the clinic. And he was so very humble. And when I realized later on how humble he is, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm sad that he's taken because Hannah needs somebody like him. Later, Reed came out to our place to measure the donkeys for a custom saddle. And as I was watching him measure the donkeys, I realized that he wasn't with his girlfriend anymore. I told him about Hannah and Hannah about Reed. Reed reached out to Hannah while she was away at school, training to be a helicopter pilot with the Army. They started talking and texting, and soon he flew out to meet her in person. Of course, his parents were nervous at first, wondering if Hannah was even real, if he was being careful. But as soon as they met, they saw how genuine it all was. Hannah eventually came back here for a visit while she was still in school, met his parents, and the rest is history. And now they're officially engaged. It's amazing to think. They met indirectly because of the Ty Evans Clinic. Life has a funny way of connecting people, just like it connects us to these animals every day. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever met someone in the most unexpected way? Share your story in the comments below. Over the course of this season, each of the donkeys has shown me something different about trust, patience, and communication. Rosa reminded me of how fragile trust can be and how much care it takes to rebuild it. Squirrel reminded me that curiosity and confidence don't always come at the same pace. Pine showed me even gentle groundwork can uncover surprises. And Laska shows the joy of working with an animal that's curious, playful, and ready to learn. We respect boundaries and move at their pace. Every animal's journey is different. Some need more time to want to be near people. Some want to be around humans, but haven't yet learned that handling doesn't need to be scary. Laska reminds us that patience, consistency, and presence create the environment where trust can grow naturally. Each touch, every interaction, every quiet moment matters. And that's what building trust is really about.